Joining us now is Ojinika Okpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jinex.
Buongiorno. Good morning, Dr. Bassey. How are you this morning? Good morning, Ayo.
Good morning, Oji.
Looking radiant. Good morning, Rufai. How are you this morning?
Buongiorno, Italiano.
Yes, today I feel Italian. Why not? Well, all right. Good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In the United States, Republicans in Congress have backed former President Donald Trump moments after he pled not guilty to federal charges that he kept classified documents and then conspired to obstruct an investigation about Ed. On Wednesday, Speaker Kevin McCarthy dashed off a fundraising email decrying what he described as a witch hunt against the former president and urging donors to sign up and stand with Trump. In Greece, at least 79 people have died and dozens are feared missing after a fishing boat carrying migrants sank off the coast of the country's southern Peloponnese region. A large search and rescue operation has saved 104 people so far, 4 of whom have been taken to a hospital with symptoms of hypothermia. The Italy-bound boat is believed to have sailed from the Tobruk area in eastern Libya. In Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Wednesday ordered a thorough investigation into the death of scores in a boat accident in Kwara State, which claimed about 100 victims returning from a wedding event. Authorities say the boat was carrying about 300 passengers traveling from Kwara State to Niger State before the boat capsized, drowning the victims. The cause of the incident is still being established. Under sports, World Football Governing Body, FIFA, announced on Wednesday that its Secretary General, Fatima Samora, will step down from her role at the end of the year after her 7-year run. FIFA President Gianni Infantino appointed Samora, a veteran United Nations diplomat from Senegal, in 2016. The 60-year-old became the first female and non-European to hold the role in the World Football's governing body. Finally, under entertainment, 9 women filed a sexual assault lawsuit against actor-comedian Bill Cosby in Nevada on Wednesday, just weeks after the state abolished the statute of limitations for civil cases. The lawsuit accuses Cosby of using his enormous power, fame, and prestige to isolate and sexually assault each of the women named in the lawsuit. The 85-year-old comedian has been accused of sexual abuses ranging from grooming to rape by more than 60 women. Bill Cosby's spokesperson, Andrew Wyatt, has accused the women suing the comedian of being motivated by their addiction to massive amounts of media attention and greed. Well, let's begin what's trending with reactions to the suspension of Abdulrasheed Bawa, chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Wednesday. Bawa's suspension follows weighty allegations of abuse of office levied against him. In a statement by Willie Bassey, the Director of Information in the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the 43-year-old EFCC boss was directed to immediately hand over the affairs of his office to the Director of Operations in the Commission, pending the conclusion of investigations on allegations levied against him. While the development comes less than a week after Godwin Emefiele, former governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, was also suspended by the president. Well, let's take some tweets. This person wrote, 2 weeks in office, Tinubu. Fuel subsidy gone, foreign exchange rate unified, CBN governor suspended, EFCC chairman suspended, Student Loan Act signed, Electricity Act signed, Data Protection Act signed, Constitution Amendment signed, Chief of Staff appointed, SGF appointed. Well, Sports Doctor wrote, for those jumping up that Tinubu has suspended EFCC Chairman Bawa, Tinubu that is going after everyone that messed with him one after the other, systematically dismantling them. He wants to fight corruption, and Hadi Sirika is still a free man. The senator and his wife judge are still flexing. Well, Shehu wrote how Mr. Bawa's day went on Wednesday, 14 June 2023. Woke up as EFCC chairman, visited the villa, met President Tinubu, left the villa. President Tinubu suspends him indefinitely. President says he has to answer to weighty allegations of abuse of office. DSS invites Mr. Bawa. Mr. Bawa likely spent the night in DSS custody. I believe Shehu is absolutely right. There is a picture that was circulating, and I think he posted that with that picture. The suspended EFCC chairman last night honored an invitation by the Department of State Services hours after he was asked to stay off work indefinitely by the president. The spokesperson for the DSS, Dr. Afunanya, confirmed in a statement that Abdulrasheed Bawa arrived at DSS headquarters last night. All right, Rufai, I believe we did this. You guys did highlight this earlier this morning, but I wanted to take some reactions from social media. I mean, this is not uncommon, right, with presidents. They do suspend. I mean, it seems like it's becoming a trend, correct? Yeah. They are suspending the EFCC chairman. But what happened to Magu at this point? Was he not?
I mean, truth was they were done with Magu, just like they're done with Bawa. Right. There's no hard feelings. I saw this coming, and it will have been funny if Bawa had not seen this coming. They were going to be done with him at some point. And the way in which they do it, they suspend you. They say they are weighty allegations. In the case of Magu, they went through the Justice Salami panel. We went through all of that. Till date, we've not seen the result of that panel. We just need to see the weighty allegations, behind all of this. And like the DSS, once they're done with their investigation, if he's going to be charged to court, let him be charged to court. It's as simple as ABC. But we should also respect his fundamental rights and stop this trial by media like we always say. Because that always happens, and in the end, you'll be looking for the weighty allegations. In the case of Magu, till date, we're still waiting for those allegations. We've never seen it. But, I'm not really surprised. Any new incumbent president comes in, he wants his own people, but their rights should be respected. Like till date, I don't know what's going on with Emefiele. He ought to have been charged to courts, except if the DSS has gone to get another, court order to be able to keep him, to investigate him further. If they've not done that, he ought to have been charged to court. He's got a fundamental human right, just like I will say in the case of Bawa too. After investigating, the law provides for how long you can keep somebody in your custody. So no hard feelings. That's the way it works. Yes. And it's not even only him. It's just only gone on and on like that. You have many cases. Adiza Bala Osman is another one. She was suspended. When the investigation was done, we were not told anything until she had to write a book to clear her name and say what happened. A very fantastic book. I read the book, Stepping on Toes. Yes. So that's the way the government works. Once they are done with you, they are done with you. The case of Magu particularly made me laugh. Because Magu's case was very funny. Because the Senate had not given a say-so as regards confirmation of Magu, and he was allowed to serve so many years as acting. Yes. But nobody saw anything wrong with it. But when they were done with him, they were so quick to kick him out and you see there are lots of people that are going to be kicked out. But wasn't he reappointed? You get. As a police, he had a position. I'm sure he was absorbed in the police force. Yes, so once they're done with you, they're done with you. Another thing I quickly want to remember, because any person that said Hadi Sirika, I think there's a story that's making the rounds as regards Hadi Sirika being invited by the EFCC. I saw that. So just to be able to balance that. Not 100% confirmed. Not 100%, but balanced. Breaking news as well. Yeah, so I saw that story, and I think a couple of the papers took it. Yeah. But that's just it. They're done with Bawa, on to the next one. And hey, whoever comes in next, you remember that when they're done with you too, probably they might treat you this way or not like this if you're lucky. But should that be the case? That shouldn't be the case. Yeah, that's the question I wanted to ask you. But you see, also my tweets highlighted all of the achievements within 2 weeks of the Tinubu administration. I mean, it's like a complete house cleaning. But the other person was saying that Tinubu is trying to target the people that have come after him. And that is actually the rhetoric on social media. Go ahead. 30 cents, having listed his achievements in 2 weeks, my comments would be 2 weeks in, not a bad report card. However, of course, some of the decisions he's made or the announcements he's made hasn't been met without criticisms. Now, let's go back to the second one, which also got my attention, because it's very true.
if you're fighting corruption, it must be that you're fighting at all levels. If not, that in itself becomes corruption in itself, because then what are the indices for determining who you want to go after, except the president is biding his time and doing them or going after them one after the other. So it doesn't raise suspicions around unfairness or around targeting, around the fact that there are people that he has had it in for. So I would like to see some high-profile cases, as we're going to be talking about the next story, high-profile cases in terms of him actually going after corrupt individuals. And also, if he is indeed investigating allegations of corruption, let us not see any of his appointees. He's going to release the ministerial list very shortly. His appointees who have cases to answer, because then it defeats the purpose of fighting corruption. So we'll be watching. Hope it's fair across board.
Absolutely.
Bukachua, you should start from there.
By today,
NGC should have highlighted that.
Bukachua as well. Well, all right. Well, the development is coming as the immediate past governor of Kano State, Abdulrasheed Ganduje, asked the High Court in the state to perpetually restrain the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission from investigating him over video clips allegedly showing him receiving wads of dollars from a contractor. The video, which trended on social media in 2018 and published by the Daily Nigerian, showed the former governor allegedly receiving the bundles of dollar notes and stuffing them inside his flowing garment, otherwise known as babariga. While the governor debunked the content of the video, the Kano House of Assembly subsequently set up a committee to investigate the allegations. The EFCC is the only defendant in the suit. Dr. Abati, over to you.
Well, that video was in 2018, and it became a big issue. And I think on account of that video that was released by a particular newspaper, Dr. Ganduje, as governor then, took Jafar to court, the journalist that made that wrote that story and reported it. Now, I think it's very strange because since that 2018, the House of Assembly in Kano State set up a committee to investigate the governor. Till date, till the lifetime of that assembly expired last week, that committee never submitted any report.
Imagine that.
Which is the way things go in this country. And this is why we say the legislature, has been so terribly abused to the extent that, those lawmakers, the oversight function that they are supposed to perform, they don't perform it. The allegation is that the governor was collecting money from a contractor and he was pocketing the money under his bull boss rope, And this was part of the money we were told meant for SUBEP, for the education sector in that particular state. So you have the House of Assembly taking such a long time and never completing the investigation, never submitting the report. And it's now on the basis of all of this that the former Attorney General of Kano State has now gone to court seeking a restraining order against the EFCC from investigating Governor Ganduje. Well, since the matter is still in court, we can just comment on it peripherally. One of the prayers that the former Attorney General is placing before the court is that, one, EFCC should not intervene until that matter is concluded by the House of Assembly. Which House of Assembly? A House of Assembly that did nothing. And that, two, until the case between Ganduje and Jafar, is determined in the court of law. But the thing to note here is that, well, it's up to the court. Let us not do the work of the court for it. But to an ordinary person, this looks ridiculous. When a man is governor, Section 308 grants him immunity. But when he's out of office, he has no immunity. He can be investigated. So taking EFCC to court, EFCC has not even summoned him. EFCC has not started investigating him. They are already warning the EFCC not to attempt it. I mean, what kind of country is this? Which in itself is a violation of the rights of the EFCC, as outlined in its own Establishment Act. So the question to ask is, what is Dr. Ganduje afraid of? If he's not afraid of anything, if the EFCC wants to invite him, they can invite him. it doesn't mean that, he's already guilty. They will carry out their investigations. And you should be reminded that it can't be going about threatening to slap people. Because this one is also like threatening to slap the EFCC. The other day he was at the villa. He said if he saw Kwankwanso, he would slap him.
That will feature on what's trending.
Some of these characters who get to leadership position in Nigeria, But it can be sure, of course, that Governor Abba Yusuf, the current governor of Kano State, will not listen to him. Already, Abba Yusuf has turned himself into a demolition man.
Let me
demolishing
take that story.
things all over the
Why don't I
town.
take that story?
But it can be sure that having lost his immunity, even the Kano State government would investigate him. So will he go to court and say the new government must not inquire into his activities when he was there?
He probably would. Well, all right. You mentioned the Kano State governor. And another development, some residents in Kano State have condemned the Kano State government's decision to demolish a multi-million naira road structure known as the Kano Golden Jubilee Monument, which they say was done in public interest. The governor of the state, Abba Kabir Yusuf, ordered the demolition in the early hours of Wednesday and personally supervised the demolition, which lasted for 3 hours. The roundabout was erected in 2017 to commemorate the state's 50th anniversary. I mean, look at this.
See,
so unnecessary.
I think Governor Kabir Yusuf of Kano should remember this. The Yorubas have a saying. They say Adiyera no kinsho wajegbe. What it means is there's a chicken they normally make for people, sort of like a transit chicken to the world of beyond. And if they eat yours, you eat theirs. Governor Kabir Yusuf should remember that the way Governor Ganduje is running helter-skelter now, he will leave office one day. And he will be judged by the things he had done. He should stop this vindictive nature. This thing was done in the interest of public good. The argument they are making is that it's disrupting traffic and everything. No. There's something they call social monuments for every society. Mm-hmm. He's built this, let it be. And stop all this vindictive nature. Because after all is said and done, whoever is pushing him to do all of this, they will leave him high and dry. So he should be careful. He should be careful because at some point, Governor Ganduje reigned supreme and felt he was the Lord of the Manor. But look at him today. He could bring in the National Assembly to investigate something and on so that he will exonerate himself of the case of the Gandola scandal. We can't forget, that was when the name Gandola came from.
Yeah, that's how he got his name.
Yeah, Gandola. But the truth is today, you are the one now begging the court to help you hold EFCC. It just reminds me of a man that wants to fight with somebody else and you're saying they should tie the hand of the other person. No!
Yeah.
Let the law take its course. Please, he should cool down on things. He has gone on a lot of this demolition exercise. Yeah. Also for landed property, you go on. Even if the titles were not properly done, in the case of landed properties, because I hear it's also after landed properties, can you fix things? Can you use those houses that have been built for economic value for the state and viability? But doing this and I, so look at how much money has been spent on this. Look at the waste because you want to prove a point. Yeah, let's not do this to one another.
Absolutely.
Please.
Are you a piece of history destroyed in public interest? I mean, how is this possible? Really?
Horrible. I think my biggest take is the amount of money that's been wasted because we want to prove a point. In addition to the traffic Rufai, his spokesperson also said that it was due to the fact that it was substandard material that was used to build the monument and that the engineers who had assessed the monument said it would collapse in 2023 or 2024. If that is indeed the case, then it is a real issue for concern because we have heard issues around building collapse and the likes. And then, if that is the case, then there must be a probe into the amount of money spent on that project and the contractors on that project, why they use substandard projects, and heads have to roll. Unfortunately, that's something that we don't often hear whereby there are consequences to actions. But who funded this project? It's probably taxpayers' money. It's high time we started to demand accountability for money spent. You cannot spend 160 million naira in 2019 to refurbish that, and then a few years down the line, you're destroying the property. What happened to the multi-million naira spent on that project? Absolutely. It is ridiculous. It's a waste of taxpayers' money, and we must get to the bottom of this.
Absolutely.
All right. Governor is also saying that that monument will be reconstructed because that monument was erected in 2017 to mark the 50th anniversary of the state.
Yes.
So, and it says that the monument is blocking the visibility of the entrance to Government House. But to the extent that it says they will reconstruct it, that's fine. But what is worrisome is that since he got there, the only visible activity he has been conducting has been the demolition of buildings at the race course and also at the Eid praying ground, on the grounds that these were public lands given out to cronies of Governor Ganduje, as he then was, to erect buildings. But he needs to explain to the people. He needs to carry the people along. You can't just wake up one morning, something that the people are used to. You give one or two excuses, and you demolish it.
Things have been reconstructed not to block the thing that he's talking about. Since
he says it to be reconstructed, let him now build his own, and let us see the quality structure that he will put there, because that monument had become historical for the people of Kano.
All right, then.
And another person demolish his own too.
And he shouldn't go about victimizing people, because it looks like he's on a vendetta mission. You know, he just wants to discredit Ganduje. Ganduje is not well loved by many people, but at least, you know, government is continuous, and he shouldn't focus on vendetta. We need to hear from him what he wants to do for the development of Kano State, the welfare of the people of Kano State. He hasn't said enough on that since he assumed office. He should begin to focus on that.
All right, then. We'll take our final story. The swearing-in ceremony of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, on Tuesday took a dramatic turn after one of the wives barged in on proceedings and shoved the Speaker's other wife aside as she jostled for recognition. The action appeared to have shocked the newly elected lawmaker, who halted his oath swearing to exchange words with the wife who interrupted the event. Well, let's take a look at a snippet of that interaction before we come back for a discussion.
I, Abbas Tajuddin,
do solemnly,
but we are different from governors,
that I will be faithful
that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
to the
Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that I will preserve
the Speaker of the House,
and that I will
Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
So help me God.
So help me God.
What is the portable say? Wahala. I have to come to you. Wait. This is complete wahala. But this is as the newly elected Senate President, Godwin Emefiele, during the 10th Senate legislative activities on Wednesday, took a swipe at his closest rival, Abdulrasheed Bawa, stating that he did not prepare a speech during the inauguration of the 10th House because he knew he was contesting against an uncommon transformer like him. Let's take a look.
Senator Abdulrasheed Bawa, you didn't have a written speech because you were not sure you win contesting against an uncommon transformer like me. so we'll look at it again.
Complete wahala, Dr. Martin.
Well, Gosila Bawa and his sense of humor.
I love it. I just wanted to see
former Governor Abdulaziz Yari also just laughing it off like that. Well, Akpabio says he's an uncommon governor, uncommon transformer.
Correct.
That's what he has taken to the Senate. But as for Tajuddin Abbas, well, he ended his speech. He said, "So help me God." Well, may Allah help him. Because if his wives would behave like this in public, can you imagine what they do at home? In fact, we thank God that they didn't descend into combat in full view of television cameras in public. Well, polygamy and his discontents. Isn't that what is projected here? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, the other wife even gained more visibility because she was better positioned. Yeah. But in public, you know, that was quite an event. I hope that Dr. Abbas, going forward, will have learned one or two lessons from it so that he will not be bringing his wives to to the public space so that they don't quarrel. Ojineka.
We're learning from you, Dr. Bati. I hope that this is a good lecture.
Oji, why will you say such a thing? Leave Shebi is the man that carry himself to marry more than one wife. Let him face what he's facing in public.
Polygamy.
It's polygamy.
Absolutely.
Is it not easy? You see, for me, I'm like Musa in the gate. There's nothing me, Musa, no go see for this gate of this Nigerian National Assembly. Take for instance,
you can't comment on polygamy.
It is this same.
Even comment on monogamy.
It is in this same national. It's in this same National Assembly that we had a lawmaker come and say he had how many wives, parade all the wives. I said the reason why he's capable is because he's married so many wives.
All right.
He can manage it.
Can you imagine the Pope offering advice on marriage?
Dr. Bati.
Oh yeah, but priest.
All right, guys, we have to go. Absolutely.
So,
well,
Dr. Bati,
I'd like to thank you all, as always, on your contribution. What's trending? Well, that's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.